All right. Good morning, Savannah. This is Taraz, the host of the Savannah Business Showcase. I'm here this morning with Vallen Productions and one of the co-founders, Alan Edwards. And I'll let you take it away and introduce yourself.
Oh, Joyce. Hey guys, this is Alan Edwards. I'm the Lynn part of Vallen Productions. My partner Val could not be here this morning. We are a brand new video production company formed in Richmond Hill, Georgia. We're always in Savannah. We do commercials for small business as well as produce some films.
Awesome. So, how did you guys come up with the idea to start a video production company?
Oh man, that could be a long story. Let's see. Well, first of all, we'll do the whole superhero origin story. No radioactive spiders, though. Val and I, we actually met as extras on a film in Savannah back in February or March of last year, the day that it snowed in Savannah, even though some northerners would argue if it was called snow or not. It was definitely cold and flaky. We met, did a lot of acting projects together. Somehow I am racially ambiguous, and she is from Uruguay. Okay. So she'd be on set several times in Spanish-themed or Latin-themed films. It's like, hey, you need somebody else? Call this guy. So we ended up acting a lot together. And I had owned an IT business back from 2002 to 2011. I sold that, worked for the people who bought me, went to work for somebody else for a while, did some management, had a good time, but I still had that entrepreneurial bug. I want to do my own thing. I want to make some of my own decisions. And I kept racking my brain for ideas, and we're doing more and more acting. I know an article in the paper from Chad Darnell, a casting director and local acting coach. He had mentioned, like, hey, if you can't get the film you want, if you can't get the role you want for your reel, make your own movies. So a lot of the actor friends we had gotten together with were like, all right, well, let's make some movies. We made some, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of them were one-offs, though. So, you go there, you show up, you do your acting, you watch. Hey, it was kind of cool. We could learn how to do this better and that better. I was like, why aren't we monetizing this? Let's make just enough money to make a second film and a third film. Let's be sustainable. And Val and I were talking a lot at that point, and we decided, we could do this because Val's very creative. She brings the emotional side to the partnership. I'm very, sometimes too much so, overly logical and logistical. So we make a good match. We might argue a lot, but we're arguing to get to that fine middle ground that resonates with our clients.
Okay, so I'm going to come back to the business side of it, but so tell me the story again of how you got into acting.
All right, acting. I guess I've always kind of liked the spotlight. I've been, president of the Small Business Chamber years ago, president of my own company. We had our own commercials. But one day I actually was at home sick with bronchitis. And the drugs were making me feel great. And I had a 2-day excuse not to be at work. And I saw a casting call for that second day when I had this doctor's excuse. You know what? I'm going to go be an extra in Birth of a Nation. See what this is like. And it pays money. Not a lot of money, but it pays money. So I showed up, met a lot of great people as extras, as any actor, honestly. You spend a lot of time waiting.
Yeah.
Right. You need to do this for 30 seconds and then go sit in a room for 2 hours and wait. So I got to meet a lot of other cool actors. Yeah. I did that. I did almost die on set. That not their fault, but I had bronchitis. There was fake smoke. We were kicking up dust everywhere because in that Birth of a Nation scene, there were maybe 100 of us stomped around on the ground. It was hot at the Roundhouse Museum, so there was no circulation in between the walls we were at. So next thing you know, I decided to try to get on a SCAD student film that a neighbor of mine was filming. I was an extra in that and met some other great group of people. One of those was my friend Lynn, who has a group called ACT, Actors Coming Together, and she's great people connector, organizer. And through that, I just began meeting more and more people that were the right kind of people interested in the industry.
That's pretty cool. I haven't seen Birth of a Nation yet, but I plan to watch it. Yeah, very soon.
I am actually in the same boat. I haven't seen it yet. I remember watching when the trailer came out, the high-definition trailer is finally here. I got to look at it. Oh, I'm the guy behind that guy. Or I'm just off frame over here. So I didn't make the trailer, but I can see me.
Cool. All right, so you got into acting. You decided to make your own movie. So, what advice do you have for the SCAD students out there who want to make a movie that's sustainable? What tips and what things did you learn for yourself?
All right, funny story then. getting into this business, people want to see what you can do. But we just got into this business. So one of the things we agreed to do, since people were asking us all the time, because our first 2 months of the job, we're saying no to everybody. But we did have one SCAD senior come to us, hey, can you help me produce this movie? And what sold us was he showed up at our meeting with a tie on. He was nervous. He had his budget together. He had his lookbook. I mean, he had a presentation ready because he felt it was important. And that's what impressed me. So I think the lesson learned from that is it's important. It's not just a student project, and the business side matters. So I think most important is you have to pay attention to it. Don't assume it's going to work out. Find out. If you don't know, find somebody who knows. Try to anticipate everything. And I think a lot of that's also reaching out beyond your circle to find help.
Cool. I like that idea. So you said the first 2 months, you said no to everything. I think that's important. I want you to dig into it. Why? Why did you do it?
One, at the time I was not I was full-time employed somewhere else as well. Okay. My partner Val still is. So we had limited time. And honestly, I think every business owner, despite where you're at, should treat themselves as if you have limited time. Time is your most important resource. And two, you can spend. Movies are intensive. I don't mean this. For this SCAD senior is a 5-minute film. That was 4 days on set and months of preparation, and they're still working on the post-production. Every little project's a lot of work. And what's in it for me? Now, for this one, this was not a monetary thing. This was, all right, I want to meet some of these genius SCAD students who have had the book knowledge that I don't have on film, and I would like to lend to them business and professional experience, even if it's not the film related yet. So, we had so many people coming to us, and all I could see in my head was, oh, there's so much work. And then their presentation to me was like, hey, we want to make a film. Can you show up Friday? And I'm like, that doesn't sound like fun anymore, because what's the plan? I'm hyper organized to a fault. I have a spreadsheet for everything. You name it, laundry, you got a spreadsheet for it. So I need things to be organized, and it was that one film that came to me and felt like it was organized enough that I could participate in.
Okay, cool. So, tell me a little bit more about Vallen Productions. Why did you guys decide to start it? What exactly do you do? All right.
Like I mentioned earlier, I had that entrepreneurial bug. I'd probably written 5 business plans, and none of them just felt right. I also knew from toward the end of my previous business that I really wanted a partner. And as odd and sexist as it may sound, I really wanted a female business partner. I wanted that other perspective. I knew it would be tough, because 2 heads also make a monster. But Val and I have been working very closely on other projects. We seem to be in agreement with our general goals and aims, yet we were in disagreement enough that we could bring different perspectives in. And I had just gotten to a point in my career, I'd done IT for 23 years now, that I was ready for a change. I was definitely ready to get back into entrepreneurship. And being in IT for so long, I have non-competes, non-solicitations. It's just easier to be in a different industry. And film's been fun, and through experience the last few years, I have found the business side of it, began to understand it more, and wanted to apply it. A side business tip, because I've actually been asked this question a few times in the last month. Okay. Why the name Vallen Productions? And that simply came from 2 lines of thought. One is, to get a name you can copyright, it can't just be a word that's already in the dictionary. My previous company started with HiQ, H-I-Q, made it up with one word together, so it was a brand. Yeah. So we came up with the same thing with Vallen, and honestly, that just kind of rolled off the tongue the first time we met. Hey, well, it's like Vallen Productions. It's wonderful. Of course, it was later, my partner Val was like, wait a minute, that's V. Allen. It's like, no. You're the capital V, we can't start without you. But it is Val for her name is Valeria, and then Lynn from Allen, to create a name we can actually have a brand about.
Very great idea. Definitely good idea. Awesome, I like that. So tell me about your previous business experience.
Well, I was I've been in IT professionally in Savannah area since 1994. Don't count my age, please. And by 2000, I was doing some management type roles. And in 2002, I started up an IT business. Did the traditional thing where, honestly, I started with $0. I sold a client a block of 10 hours prepaid so that I could afford to incorporate and get business licenses. So it started in a shoestring. We grew to 5 employees in 9 years. And the reason I got out is, yes, having your own business is a strain for families sometimes. And I had a health scare, nothing serious in the end, but when you realize that you can actually be out of work for a month, it's just, that was my wake up call. Let's try steady income for a change. Yeah. I don't think it agreed with me long term, but it was what I needed at the time. And we were able to actually sell the business as opposed to just close it. So that was a positive.
So what made you want to get into video production without the background?
That is an excellent question. Back when I first sold my business, I was also looking for ways to spend my time because the business is full-time, 24/7. Or as they say, you can work half days in your own business. Just pick which 12 hours you want. And so I tried a couple of different things. I took up dance.
Okay. What type of dance?
Ballet is where I started. I still do that some, tap, jazz, hip-hop. I also started doing some writing. I was never known as a creative person because I am so organized, business-focused. But I started writing. I wrote a feature-length play. It was actually a musical. I wrote a book that was horrible, which is actually why I started writing the play, because that was easier to write. And just that, I guess that creative side got stirred up. It's in my 3rd play this weekend. And when I started making movies with friends and watching the SCAD films, I began to see the business side. And to me, that was the part that was lacking the most, because the purpose of all business right, is to fill a need. And I felt that's where the need was, is how can we make the films make money or at least sustain themselves? So I saw a void and I wanted to fill it.
And once again, what have you figured out that helps movies and videos make money?
Be unique. Like doing business commercials, we're just getting started in those. We've written a few scripts for some clients and about to film soon. It's finding a way to truly entertain, and I feel like movies obviously capture that already. How do you distill that down into 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 5 minutes? And I can't tell you yet that I have that secret sauce, but I can tell you we have some great ideas, some things that people haven't seen directly before, that's pulling stories out of a client's everyday work life, saying like, look, this is a real human element that your company is bringing to your market that's more than just your products and services. So we're trying to get that human element to help portray our clients on video, social media, commercials.
Yeah, I like that. Those are like the best commercials anyway, because you get to the what the viewer, the potential customer is feeling, and what the client wants them to feel about their company.
Right.
That's why I think you said this in your show, in your presentation the other day. It's why Budweiser does the commercial with a dog and horses.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another common question I get asked is, how long should it be? Yeah. And my answer is, how good is your content? I mean, would I watch the Budweiser dog and pony show? Would I watch that commercial longer if it stayed entertaining? Absolutely. Do I want to see, hey, buy our beer, drink responsibility for 5 minutes? No.
Yeah. So I met you at the Creative Coast. Once a lot of great entrepreneurs go to the Creative Coast. And you did a presentation there on videos and the different types of ways you can share your content with the world. I don't expect you to go through the whole presentation, but what are some key points that you can share with the listeners?
Well, we kept that presentation at a very basic level. We're still new. We were sharing the different types of ways you can present content, all through video, of course. That's all that exists. There's no radio.
Right.
Actually, radio is probably twice as challenging because you have one less sense to appease to. But there's all these different types of commercials. I mean, you have your very standard commercials. Hey, buy our product. It's great. This is why. Here's our phone number. Call now. There's a lot of those out there. They are obviously effective, or people wouldn't use them, but there's also a lot of competition to get that. And it can be quite expensive to get the airtime if you want to do TV. It can be difficult to get FaceTime and Facebook and Twitter and these other medias too. There's a lot of noise out there. Honestly, what I was secretly trying to show in that presentation is I feel like the narrative is the way to go to sell your product. And that's kind of what we just discussed. Let's tell a story about the people in and of your business. I'm working with Unforgettable Bakery and Deli right now. Sorry, Unforgettable Bakery and Cafe right now. And Belinda there, she's been there for quite a while, and the stories she can tell about her clients, anywhere from kids who have been born to people on their deathbed wanting her product, to catering a wedding in 3 hours. I mean, there's some really powerful stories where she has connected with people over the years, and I think that's why somebody would want to go to her place versus we have a really great cake.
Okay, so also in the presentation, you gave a lot of different avenues that you can post your videos on. A lot of people just think of Facebook Live or just YouTube, but there's so many different ways and places you can host your videos.
Yeah, there are so many. They all have pros and cons. I am not a believer that you have to be on any one place. I believe you do what you know. I personally live and breathe on Facebook right now. Even though I'm a former IT guy, I can't figure out Twitter. I mean, I know how to make a post. People, just click here. It's not about where to click. It's about why to click.
Right. I'm not good at Twitter either.
Yeah.
I've never picked it up. Yeah.
I finally signed up for an account to test something. I was like, I just don't know. Heck, Facebook took me a while 15 years ago. Or was it 10 years ago? Time's flying these days.
About 10, yeah.
But, personally, we have a very strong Facebook presence. We have almost nothing anywhere else. We are starting YouTube. I don't believe you should host a video on YouTube. Now, when you hit 5 or 6 videos, heck yeah, because you go to watch one video, it might recommend similar videos like yours, so one view can lead to a second view. So we always put our stuff on YouTube, but we don't market that yet until we have more. There's a lot of strategies, and they all have their different algorithms that you have to stay current on how that reads. One of the value adds we do for our clients too is many of them don't have that presence yet. We create their YouTube channel. We will post it on their Facebook for them with the right methodologies at the time for the algorithms. We'll post it on our page for them to try to get them as much exposure as possible, because if our clients aren't successful, we're not going to be successful.
That's cool. How do you feel about Snapchat?
I'm stealing this phrase from somebody else.
Okay.
And because it was fitting. I went to a small business chamber meeting about a similar topic a few months ago regarding social media and video production. Snapchat's really expensive for business presence if you want the actual paid spots. And the only people doing them right now are major national brands. They haven't done a great job of making it locally accessible. Obviously, if you're a small business and you are your brand, yeah, you can have your followers watch your videos, but it's Snapchat, so you have to be doing it all the time. It needs to be good and entertaining, at least for your audience. And if that's not who you are, don't try it. I mean, as connected as I am, I have a Snapchat account. I don't remember to take pictures of things. I'm usually too busy enjoying. I'm not the guy who posts. I mean, I even forgot to take pictures on set during a play for the last 3 days. Thank goodness other people were taking pictures for me.
Yeah. I'm not. Again, we're kind of in the same place, because I'm not that guy either.
Yeah.
I should be young enough to understand Snapchat, but I just don't understand it. Maybe it's the kids I have. I have 2 kids, but I just don't understand Snapchat.
I finally do understand that one. I just don't. I don't agree with it. It's just not me. Yeah. Right now we should have somebody taking a picture of us doing this.
That's true.
And you can post. Yeah, there we go. And then we can post that on your Facebook page, our Facebook page.
Right. Yeah, Snapchat, you have to be like, it just takes you out of the moment.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you feel about paid versus free video advertising?
Which platform? The rules are different.
Yeah, okay. Well, explain that.
Well, I mean, Facebook was free for many, many, many years. I mean, they went public, people were up in arms. Why are they worth so much money? They don't even make any money yet. They are now monetizing. I mean, you have to pay to play these days. The good news is they're still new enough, like Facebook specifically. I mean, they'll even throw us a coupon. Hey, try out our service. We'll give you $10 worth of advertising. You certainly need to build a following first. But Facebook and you can be very targeted with your money. You can spend very little money and go a long way. But I would say if you want to be successful and actually start marketing to people who aren't already your friends or clients, you will need to spend money. $10, $20 goes a long way. And obviously your content also really matters.
Content is king.
And that is one of the reasons we do what we do now. I mean, these days, everything is video. You went from text to pictures, now we're at video. And the videos have to be captioned because, these videos autoplay. People are watching them at work, on their phone, during a commute, whatever. Don't Facebook and drive. And it needs to be video. And you can do inexpensive video, again, if that's what your clients are looking for. A picture of you talking. That can be great if that fits your business and your audience. And inexpensive. And we're there for those people who need help and want to produce something that's high quality and tells a good story.
Awesome. Okay, so Vallen Productions, you do productions. You do video production.
Yes.
So, like, what do you specialize in? Or is it a broad range of things you do?
We are following the traditional entrepreneurial model, which means at first we'll do anything anybody wants to pay us for. We do have a longer-term plan. Short-term, we are looking for small business commercials. We want to help businesses be successful. Those are my people. Okay. I've been in the small business market for decades now, and I can help them think through business and apply video production to that. The reason that appeals to us is because it is a fairly short turnaround. We're making 30-second to 2-minute to 3-minute spots. We can knock those out pretty quickly. We can make the business more successful and in a reasonable budget too. In the midterm, we would like to produce more short films. Short films have a lower track record of monetizing. You really can't sell a short film itself, but you can sometimes sell the idea that the short film represents for a longer project. But again, that's more manageable. We can produce one of those in a few months. And of course, long term, we would love to produce a very low budget feature length film, 90-minute film. That would be the goal, but I see that being about 5 years out.
Okay. So let's take a step back. Just to tell the listeners a little bit more about you. So you're from Savannah, originally. Why'd you stay?
I actually think about that a lot. I was born on Forsyth Park, not in Forsyth Park. On Forsyth Park, where the Mary Telfers Women's Hospital was. Okay. I did move away for 2 years. I am also one of those people who, when I say the word Savannah, I mean anywhere near Savannah. Okay. If you go to shop in Savannah on a regular basis, I say you're from Savannah, because I am. I live in Richmond Hill right now, which is Savannah. I don't have an accent, so I'm frequently accused of not being truthful about where I'm from. That's just my hyper-organized, I want to pronounce things correctly all the time, if I can. I was so nervous about pronouncing your name today. Yeah, Taraz, did I say it right?
That's right, yeah.
All right. Well, I practiced.
I appreciate it.
And I see people moving, and I do love traveling. I love the extra experiences, but I also love everything about this town, that I can travel to see those other things. I honestly never really visited downtown much until the last few years, and I'm in love. I go to Forsyth Park almost every week now. Just being able to eat outside of City Market and hear live music is amazing. Maybe because I haven't traveled enough, I don't know how many other places you can do that almost every night of the week.
Yeah, with a beer in hand.
And you can walk around with a beer in your hand. Yeah. And I know that's rare. And then even you have Southside where you do have, ample shopping. And again, so much food out here, such great restaurants. And then I live out in Richmond Hill where, quiet community, great parks. I love to go for runs out there. I can walk outside in my house, Richmond Hill, and I can see the stars and sometimes even the Milky Way belt. I mean, there's so much in the local area, and you have beaches and the river and marshes and a fair amount of sports, either from the park or surfing at Tybee. There's just so much here. I haven't run out of things to do yet.
That's a great way to put it. I was in New York this past weekend with a friend, and I hope you're listening. But he was just so into New York and how great New York is. But I was like, it's just okay. Like, it's definitely the biggest city. It has the most people to have. Every business has a headquarters or a shop there almost. But it's a beautiful city. You can get anything in New York and a lot of other places. It's just a different way of life.
And you meet so many people who are like, I don't like this town, I'm going to leave. Mm-hmm. I do think those are the same people who are going to end up saying that about every town they go to. Right. It's, I'd like to think if I was in New York, I'd say I love New York. Mm-hmm. I've only been there once. It was fun-ish. I don't do cold either. In fact, even in Savannah, I feel like moving south, December, January. I drive my Jeep, the top's down almost all the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not cold at all. It's not getting cold. We stayed in Chicago for 2 years, and this is no cold. On Christmas I had a tank top on. You know what I mean? So
wow.
It wasn't bad at all. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll take a short break, and we'll come back with a lightning round.
Uh-oh. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay. All right. Welcome back, Savannah, to the Savannah Business Showcase. I'm here still with the great Alan Edwards of Vallen Productions, and he is about to go through the grueling lightning round of the Savannah Business Showcase. Are you ready?
Yes. Thank you for the 30-second warning.
Okay. So let's start out with failure. How have you approached failure in life? And tell us about a business failure you had.
There have been many. I like to approach failure head on. I am almost overly qualified. If you learn from your mistakes, I am a freaking genius because I make a lot of mistakes. I like to get failures over with. I mean, when things don't go right, I admit my mistake immediately. I stand up immediately. And I don't like to call it dwelling on it, but I like to think about what happened, why it happened, and how to prevent it again. Because nothing's worse than making the same mistake twice. Fortunately, there are infinite opportunities to make different mistakes. For not being an emotional guy and the business guy, I remember losing a client due to lack of attention in my early years in my IT business. I cried that night. I lost a client. This client did not like me. I've had to fire bad hiring decisions, both in my business and some other businesses that I was in management for. And those, they just built experience. I don't regret any of those things. I hated to have to do it. Heck, once I had to fire a good friend of mine from a business we both worked at. And he actually texted me a few months after that and said, thank you.
Wow.
Because I had found my calling through that process. And it's just, you do what you need to do. When you find a mistake, take care of it immediately. Don't let it dwell. Don't let it fester because it will poison the well.
Very good advice. Who influenced you early in life, and who's your mentor now?
I have always had difficulty answering that question. I don't have a one person. I like to feel that I learn from everybody a lot. And as you get later in life, you start thinking about those things harder and harder. Where did I come from? How did I become this person that I am? Because I don't recall anybody who has the specific personality quirks that I have. But I do always kind of lean on various characteristics of my mom and my dad. They were divorced at a very young age to me. I think I was 3. My mom was playing kind of like the single mom. I remember... short side story. I remember, learning how much my mom made at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I announced at a dinner with my future in-laws at the time that I hope to one day make $30,000 a year. and that was going to make so much more than my mother did. Yeah. And they laughed at me. Yeah. So, I mean, there is some influence there from my mother, who was also, she was good at taking care of the house, and she made things happen, even though things aren't perfect. My dad was a great part of my life still, despite being separated. So I think from there, I also learned that be friends, be friendly, do the right thing to everybody, regardless of the situation. He was also a hard worker. And even though it didn't feel the same to me, he was also an entrepreneur. Okay. He owned a remodeling business. He was always a handyman, carpenter of various types. He had trouble keeping a job for the longest time. And then he started his own business. And while he did ultimately close that to go work for the city of Savannah for quite a while, I remember just working with him and seeing how that worked.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Do you have kids, and what are you going to teach your children about entrepreneurship?
I have two daughters, 18 and 14. Therefore, they already know everything. No, they're great kids. I will brag on both for a second. My 18-year-old just graduated high school. Awesome. With a 2-year associate's degree from college. Wow. Super impressed with how hard she worked. My 14-year-old has the same curse that I have, which is that we're pretty good at things we try for the first time, which is great, but it also means sometimes we don't apply ourselves as hard as we should, because things come naturally to us. But she's been taking up violin the last couple of years and is making a lot of progress in that. And I honestly feel, even at this age, that they've already learned what they're going to learn about the people they are and who they should be. That part of their teaching is over. Mm-hmm. At this point, all I can do is lead by example.
Awesome. Another side note, I really want to learn how to play the fiddle. So maybe Connie could give me lessons.
Maybe so.
Yeah, when he gets ready. How did you get your startup capital for your business?
What's that? No, this is being the second business that I've started. We also started with very little startup capital. We just, whatever money you would typically save or go out to eat, you didn't do that for a while. Val and I both put up, honestly, very little money, enough to fund the bank account, to get our LLC, to get our business license, right. A little bit extra. We would put in more as we go, and we just have to make decisions based on where you stand. That means, yes, not committing to cash outlays. It might mean, hey, if you need money from a client up front to do the work, that's what you have to do. Yeah. Don't take risks that are going to sink your business before you get started.
Right. And I only ask that because I know a lot of people out there listening worry about that. Where the capital is coming from, and they say that I don't have enough money to start a business. But sometimes you just have to make it work.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey has a great saying about money. Capital, cash, is lubricant. All the little frictions, it makes that easier. So if you have a plan to get to the startup capital you need, by all means, stick to that plan and wait for the startup capital. At the same time, I would challenge you, if this is truly your passion, your calling, which it has to be for business to work. It has to be your passion or calling. Find a plan that also works with the capital you can get. There are creative ways. It doesn't mean you can start with nothing. It doesn't mean you should just go and do it anyways, but find a plan that uses whatever capital you can get and then stick to it.
Next question. What have you had to sacrifice in order to start your business?
I've pretty much stopped going out at all with my friends. And for me, that's not even a time thing. Like we did start with very little capital, so I don't want to spend money going out to eat. I don't want to spend gas money going places these days. Now my social interactions are, hey, I'm going to go visit a client. Are you in town at that time? While I'm out there. That's been the biggest thing. You also sacrifice a little bit of pride. Because you always have your detractors. I forgot about that part, honestly. Like, oh, what are you doing? Why don't you have a job? Yeah. How are you going to eat next week?
Right.
Well, if I'm hungry enough, I will sell harder.
Yeah. Favorite book?
I don't read books before bed anymore, because if it's a self-help business book, I will immediately start implementing instead of sleeping. Honestly, one of the ones that got me an early start in life was Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Even though I love The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in fiction, and I always had this strange place in my heart for the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which is now coming to theaters soon. So I'm looking forward to see how they change that, because the trailer says they changed it a lot.
Okay. So there's the concept of the 80-20 principle. 20% of your actions equate 80% of the results you get in your business. So what is the 20% that is 80% of the results in your business right now?
Sales, being seen, networking. There's so much. I mean, I spent in the early days figuring out what to do. I spent 80% of my time building our webpage, which has done very little for us, right? Because the reverse of that's also true.
Right.
Yet I go to a Creative Coast, meet a guy like you, and 2 other prospective clients now, and all that was just giving out free information about how you can do it yourself. So just get out there, be seen, and just tell people what you do. Don't force it on them.
Do you feel that entrepreneurship or your business, Vallen Productions, is your life's calling?
I feel like my life's calling is entrepreneurship. I feel like any specific thing. I mean, I Haiku, back in the IT company I started, it felt like my life's calling at the time, but I hate to call it that because obviously it's not there anymore. Nothing is permanent. I do love movies, film. I love bringing these ideas to clients, but I think my life's calling is actually helping business clients. And that may take many different forms over the years.
Is there a quote that has always been a mantra that you live by?
There are 2 quotes that I tend to include in a lot of presentations that I've done before. And I don't remember them exactly. I can make some guesses, but both of them were from war peoples. I don't want to say heroes. One was Napoleon, I believe, and the other might have been Churchill. One was a failure to plan is planning to fail, and I believe that was Churchill. I hope I got that right. And I think
nobody really knows.
Yeah. And Napoleon was the one I believe said that nothing ever goes according to plan.
Okay.
And I believe both those are true. By having a plan, you're able to adjust because you've thought through all the things. So when things don't go to plan, you are more equipped to make those decisions. And that's why I believe both those quotes are great and should go together all the time.
Or to add to that, Mike Tyson's quote, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth.
That's a good one too.
Do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert?
Extrovert.
And why?
Because I am. No, I'm extremely extroverted. I like to give presentations. I like to be on stage. I like to go to networking events. I certainly have my introverted moments, those times where I want to go hide. But no, I love people. I don't do well at home alone very long. Got to get out.
If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Assuming we're not talking long-term forever, I would probably venture out of Savannah.
Okay.
And I would love to try Australia.
Okay.
I mean, it's similar enough to what we have down here, yet unique enough. I just want to see the other side of the sun.
Gotcha. Good luck. What did you want to be as a kid?
I actually had a list before they had spreadsheets of that. Number 1 was a stockbroker. Okay. Number 2 was a jet pilot. And number 3 was a stuntman. And I find that I'm getting closer and closer to number 3, being fairly physically active and on film. I'm getting close.
Mm-hmm. So how does I wonder how does a jet pilot and a stockbroker, jet pilot? I get the stuntman, but how do those relate to what you're doing now and what you've become?
To me, I guess stockbroker, it was my numbers side. I like I said, love spreadsheets. I love doing numbers. I have projections and I do all that stuff all the time. So maybe that was already there in me. I made that list in 5th grade, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that was already there.
Yeah.
Jet pilot, I don't know. Maybe that was just an adrenaline seeker. Honestly, all those things, I don't know if I knew that at the time, but even stockbrokers are major adrenaline junkies. And stuntman, again, it just seemed physically fit and fun, and I always liked those things.
Okay, that makes sense. If you had a superpower or a super ability, what would you choose and why?
So many choices. Keeping it on topic, I'm going to say invisibility.
Okay.
As an extrovert, sometimes there is a pressure to always be extroverted. And there are times that I am ready to go hide. Ask my business partner every now and then on a certain Saturday or Sunday, she can't get a hold of me for a day. And that's just me having me time, recharging, shutting down, and going out there. A former coworker of mine, we had a conversation a few months ago about trade shows. You go out there, you shake hands, and you have a great time. And people don't understand why we come back exhausted. And it's because, that extroversion that you're always on stage, it does require energy, effort, and work.
A lot of it, yeah.
But it's fun. I mean, there's that adrenaline there too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you do have to take a break.
Yep, definitely. Last question. There's a lot of new entrepreneurs out there. My hope for this radio show is to inspire them to take the leap into entrepreneurship. What advice do you have for new, beginning, wannabe entrepreneurs?
Have a plan. Nothing goes according to plan, so be flexible. And absolutely find mentors. And some advice given to me. I actually had I'm going to call him a co-peditor, kind of take me under the wing after we met one day at a chamber function. And I mean, he took me to lunch and gave me advice as well, which is amazing. And he was like, hey, here's some advice. And one of my pieces of advice is don't take advice. I mean, every situation is unique. Absorb that information and apply it how it works for you, because it might be different.
Yeah. Very good advice. Very good advice. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for being on the show today, Alan. How can people find you? How can people contact you? All that good stuff.
Just come to networking events. You'll find me. We do have a website, vallenproductions.com. We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Vallen Productions. Or you can call us at 912-388-6680.
Okay. You sure about that?
I worked so hard to remember that. I believe that's right.
Okay.
Who uses the phone these days anyways, right?
All right. Okay. So you guys can find them. Once again, Facebook, Vallen Productions, vallenproductions.com, or 912-668. Is that right?
No.
Okay. All right. Tell me one more time.
388-6680.
912-388-6680.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Okay. All the listeners out there, thank you guys for joining me again this Wednesday morning. I hope you guys have a great week and go out there and do something impactful to help Savannah, to help your future, and to help the world. All right. Thank you guys. Peace out.